feeling a little tired of me testing some inexpensive, worn-out bagless systems, how about some bagged systems? Some old bag vacuums, to be precise. So, a dual Sanitronic 80 on the left, and a Heritage 2 Legend on the right. Both bagged systems, I use that term loosely with the DS80, because it's got a bag, but it's a shakeout bag. Well, you know what that is, Kirby fans. So how about we switch over from like lower CFM type of machines to really high CFM type of machines. We'll do 2-cycle fine dust pickup and see if either one of these old machines can crush the newer type of bagless technology. I'm going to be using the well blown out black Kirby HEPA bag for the Heritage 2 Legend. Yeah, I think we'll do it like that. That's up far enough. No, that is. Do it the other way. Yeah, there we go. Don't want anything touching anything else. That never happens. 73.73 grams. Okay, it's kind of interesting. Get this out of the way. Then I have to switch over to my 3,000 gram scale because this weighs more than 500 grams. We have to do 2 measurements with this. We've got to do the emptor bag as a whole, and then obviously we do the extraction. All right, so it's a little wobbly. Got to get that stable. And I'm going to call it at 994.0 grams, completely empty. And it took a little while to clean all that out. If you want to actually see how these machines and or the carpet has been prepared for this test, feel free to take a look at the very first video in this playlist, and you'll see just how much work it actually takes to make sure that I get a good, accurate result. All right, we're going to be running this dual Sanitronic here. It's got a nearly new brush roll in it in really fantastic shape. The suction relief is completely closed, so we're running right around 125 CFM or so. There it goes. 10 grams of baking soda. Let's see how well it does. Now, off camera, I'm going to go ahead and do some, I guess, shaking and scraping, and then we'll reconvene in the measurement phase. So off camera, I used a sufficient amount of force to rattle this bag around, shake it out, and also scrape it out, all the while keeping this emptor inlet completely sealed. I wanted to make sure that all the fine dust that made it into this entire system stayed there. So I didn't want to do it while it was still attached to the machine because, well, this fine dust could easily blow back out of this hole, so that's why I actually removed it. So let's see how we did. Okay, I will call it at 999.0, which means If I take 999 and then subtract 994, I mean, you don't really need a calculator for that. That would be 5 out of 10 grams. So that pulled up about 50%. And for those people who are unfamiliar with this machine, the brush roll that is inside here is something, the native factory brush roll, sometimes it's referred to as, like, say, single row. So the bristles that are in there are actually very sparse and very gentle. So even though it has, relatively speaking, an outrageous amount of CFM, it does not have the agitation of the newer Kirbys. So now let's see what I can get when I extract this bottom part of the emptor. And once again, I took several minutes making every attempt to get this sample as clean as possible. You know, when you have a shakeout bag, unless you actually wash it and you do a test like this just once, you know, the very first time you use it after you wash it, you're never going to get the sample recovery to be completely clean. So that does look pretty good, but I took, you know, probably about 15 minutes to clean it or so. There's the bottom of that tray there. So now let's see what we managed to extract. So the system as a whole did 50%, or you could say 5 out of 10 grams. And now the extracted amount, which is a little dirty, it's not that bad. Gets 2.5 or so out of 10. All right, so we're talking 25.1% extracted. So I understand some people might actually be a little upset about this, but please realize that even though this machine has an awful lot of concentrated CFM, and even though the height was properly adjusted for this carpet, the big problem with this particular vacuum isn't really the vacuum. It's the brush roll. It's super, super gentle. So it definitely can pick up fine dust. But if you go and, say, change the brush roll to something a lot more aggressive, then it would probably pick up a lot more. Blue stuff somehow in there somewhere. Where that was. Center that properly. And here we go. So let me reset up the camera and get you in closer. Obviously a much easier to measure system. Okay, we did 77.9, I'm gonna have to pick something here. I'm going to call it 77.98, and then I'm going to subtract 73.73, and here's what we picked up. Now that would be about 42.5%, so pretty interesting. Okay, so some people might think, well, gee, that's a lot better than what the extracted amount is for the dual Sanitronic 80, and you'd be right. But as far as the raw pickup goes, let's talk about that. So to date, as of making this video, the Dual Sanitronic 80, the old green machine from the late 60s, technically by an insignificant amount, wins with a 50% raw machine pickup compared to all the other machines you see here. Now, realistically, it only wins by 1% compared to the little purple clean view, the one that's over to the right. So they're really about tied. But what a difference in technology and age. So the Dual Sanitronic 80 does actually win or pretty much equal this round. The Heritage 2 Legend also wins for extracted dirt. That is, dirt that you can easily remove from your house. So you have all these bagless systems. You got some Dysons, you got 3 Bissells there, and you got a couple of older Kirbys. And the simplicity of just simply taking a bag out of your machine, out of your high airflow machine, and just tossing it. I mean, it still stands today. Now, obviously, as I keep testing more and more machines, the rankings will change. But this is a great example of how really old technology, very, very simple bagged technology, manages to equal or best bagless technology. So, hey, thanks for watching and stay tuned for more.